and her race and her life experiences, her lived experiences that make her such a wonderful candidate. You know, this is not a DEI pick. She represents America. She's a biracial daughter of immigrants. She worked at McDonald's. She's in an interracial marriage. She's a modern family. She is America. There's nothing DEI candidate about her, right? So I think it's so prescient to talk about Shirley Chisholm, and she's definitely on the front of my mind during this convention. And I just wish she could have been here to witness this moment because she just would be so happy and proud to see the scores of Black women specifically who are at this convention, who are registering voters, who are campaigning for hopefully the first Black woman president. But none of this could happen, right, without Shirley Chisholm challenging the glass ceiling, without her challenging the institution to fight to be included in the political conversation. So I'm just eternally grateful for her legacy, and it won't leave my mind while I'm in Chicago.
Amen. And, Reverend Jesse Jackson, had he not said you got to have proportional representation in the vote, that instead of all these states having winner, take all, that you had to give every winner a proportionate, amount of delegates to the convention that they earned when they ran. If that had been the rule when Shirley Chisholm ran, imagine the difference that she would have had, even the delegates that she was able to win in the states that had other rules. Just imagine the force she could have been. One last question I really wanted to get into is Maureen and Edward. Attorney Hoffler had to leave, but Maureen and Edward, TJC alumni Eldridge just registered 100 people to vote over last week. Can you imagine? He registered 100. He registered 100 people over the weekend, and then last week he registered 1,000 people. 100 over the weekend, 1,000 last week. Eldridge is working on TJC's national I'll Rise and Vote concert series, which we will discuss more in upcoming shows. What have been some of your post-training activities, and what are you hearing from other class members from all our cohorts, all our classes, about what they're doing with the training that they received during the TJC Gen Z training?
Thank you. I'll say one of the things that I've been doing, I've actually been doing work with the Chicago Teachers Union, one of the leading unions in the city of Chicago, because we know Chicago is a union town, and making sure that, we have these teachers who exist, especially in high schools, where upon graduation or pre-graduation, they're registering their young people to vote before they leave out of high school, so that they're registering so that they have the opportunity to actually vote when they either make it out of high school or before they make it out of high school. So catching the young people where they are in the educational institution to change the trajectory of education in the country. Thank you. They really ain't trying
to. That's amazing. That's so important, isn't it, Daryl? To have that early registration while you're in high school, because people find it too difficult sometimes to figure out how to register. But we got an answer for them, don't we, Daryl?
Absolutely, Barbara. When it comes to the whole registration process and the activation process, one of the things that TJC does is that we're on the forefront of this. We're the forward thinkers. That's why you're going to be hearing more about this I'll Rise and Vote concert series. That's what it's designed to do, is to bring young voters to the fold, to make it exciting, to make it a celebratory experience. And I tell you, Barbara, you always hear me say it. when young voters start voting, things start changing. And once they get a taste of the power of their vote, they'll vote in mass numbers, but they've got to see the direct correlation. And that's one of the things that we work on, is for them to see that direct correlation between voting power and what they're able to accomplish. Barbara, it's so exciting to be involved in this I'll Rise and Vote concert series. I can't wait till we open it up to talk about it more with more people across the country.
I mean, and folks, get excited if you're in, our 12 target states. We can't wait. If you're in good old Florida, if you're in good old Wisconsin, Virginia, Alabama, good old Ohio, Georgia, Cincinnati, Ohio. We are, so excited. We're also, looking at, we will be announcing concerts for Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Arizona, Illinois, Texas. Woo! We got a lot coming because we know that people want to vote, but we're going to make sure that there's voter registration tables available. We're going to make sure that there's voter restoration information. We're going to make sure, and I'm calling on every single listener today, check your voter registration, folks. Last week was the last week that jurisdictions could purge voters, and we know that they did so in several jurisdictions. So we're asking you, when I say jurisdictions, I'm talking about your counties, your local governments, your city and municipal governments, but really your states. It's the states who do most of the purging. And when you look at it, we've had, purges all over the place. One county in Nevada purged, over 112,000 people. So, folks, make sure your status is good. Go to vote.org. Vote.org. That should be your tool, everything right now. Vote.org. That's where you can register to vote. That's where you can check your voter registration. That's where you can get some information about restoration of rights. Folks, go to vote.org. Vote.org. And it's quick, folks. Don't be thinking, I'm going to do that. Paperwork is going to be hours. No. It only takes a few minutes. We need you to do that. We need to grab your family members, do the same, have them check. Let's make that happen. But these concerts are going to be inspirational. You're going to have incredible, performers. It's going to be a community festival, right? Isn't that what they called it, Daryl, in one of the locations?
Yeah, that's exactly what they call it, Barbara. It's a community festival. It's just a celebration of the vote. People that will be able to find out your voting status and your registration status, those that are formally convicted will be able to give information with regards to the restoration of their right to vote. And, they're going to have food trucks. It's going to be everything that you can possibly imagine that have a great time is going to be there. And the cost will be zero. They're absolutely free, Barbara.
Amen. And Edward and Maureen, that's one thing TJC has always taught, and that is that voting should not be a burden. Voting should be fun. Voting should be a celebration of our being, citizens and having that right to vote. Wherever you have the right to vote, non-citizens, wherever that's allowed, at the municipal level in some places. We just want people to know that voting should be fun. It should not be a requirement that you must suffer and wait in line and go through all these headaches. That's why we want to pass the Freedom to Vote Act, the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act, the Native American Voting Rights Act, and D.C. statehood. We want to get rid of voter suppression. And these bills will help us get rid of 85% of that. So in the closing, Edward, can you say a word to our national audience about, just 1 minute, and tell them how they can get in touch with you? Just say a word to them about why you want to make sure everybody's voting and how we think all those people have been registering in the last month. But tell people what you want them to know.
Yes. So you can get in touch with me via my social media. Via my Gmail account. That's Edward E. Ward, the number 3 at gmail.com. Again, that's Edward E. Ward 3 at gmail.com. And I would say I just want people to know that it is, again, absolutely necessary to get involved in the voter process, because what I'm seeing now is a lot of our elders and a lot of folks who have been voting for years, who put their literal lives on the line, are looking to pass the torch, and they're looking to pass it to somebody, and they want to make sure that those people that they want to pass the torch to are there. And our young people, as I've also witnessed, are looking to have the torch and the baton passed to them. They just need to know where to go. And so directing you all there, so you can get in contact with me via email and everything, so we can actually work from there to make sure that we get you all connected to the right folks. If you're here in the city of Chicago, you can absolutely connect with me, and I will get you in contact with the right folks so that we can get our voting power out there.
And Maureen, the same to you. If people want to reach out to you and get in contact with you, how do they get in contact with you?
You can get in contact with me on Twitter, or just Google Maureen Edobor, and my social media and professional profiles should come up. And for my last word, I just want to reiterate what you and Barbara and Edward have all said. Visit vote.org, check your registration, make sure you're registered. Voting should be fun. Put on your merch, stand in line, have a good time. This is the most important election of our lifetime. But it's important, I think, to approach this election with a sense of celebration and levity, because it's truly historic, and we're living through what's going to be a quite lengthy chapter in a 2045 history textbook. So savor the moment, and again, go to vote.org to make sure you're registered.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you to Carmen Day for being with us today. Thank you to Attorney C.K. Hoffler for being with us today. Thank you so much, Maureen Edobor and Edward Ward, for being guests on today's Igniting Change. Folks, we encourage you to go to tjcoalition.org, tjcoalition.org, and if you have someone between the ages of 18 and 35 years old, and they're in the DMV, they're in Delaware, they're in Pennsylvania, please encourage them to put in an application to join, an application to become part of our next training class, which begins on September the 11th. Look, until next Tuesday, noon Eastern Standard Time, we appreciate all that everybody does. Get off the sidewalks, get into the streets. If you're in Chicago, make your way toward the United Center and watch this historic DNC as it unfolds. Barbara, until next Tuesday, noon Eastern Standard Time, peace, everybody.
Peace. All right. Thank you.
The preceding program was paid for by Barbara Arnwine.
Radio 1 presents Boss Talk, connecting with CEOs in the DMV.
My name is Mike Odukoya, and I am CEO of City Chef. The best advice I can give a future business owner is to be prayerful, to not carry all the burden, because there's so many things to worry about, so many variables that you can't see. So you're making hundreds of decisions every day, and each one of those decisions are going to have a positive or a negative result. Don't stress, because there's always the little details that can have you, like in the middle of the night, wake up, did I get this? But you're bringing it home. It can affect your home life. When you jump in and say, I want to start a business, everyone around you is going to have to jump in with you. If not really jumping with you, they'll be affected by the things that happen within the business. So my best advice would be prayerful, number one. You can't fix everything, number two. And be intentional about making sure that you realize that it will affect your family life. And, you have to go out your way to try to compensate for your lack of availability.
This is Boss Talk. Inspiration from CEOs right here in the DMV.
Information is power, and now available on your smartphone or tablet. Download the free WOL app now. WOL Washington, D.C. W240DJ Washington. 95.9 WMMJ HD3 Bethesda. WKYS HD3 Washington. WPRS HD3 Waldorf, and worldwide at WOLDCnews.com.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
The views and opinions of the following show do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of News Talk 1450 WOL, Radio 1 Incorporated, or their management.
All show